Hey, welcome everyone to Combat Sports Today. I'm Saeed. I go by the MMA Foo. I am joined by the CEO of BYB Extreme Fighting Series, Greg Bloom. It's a pleasure to have you, sir. Welcome to the
You as
show.
well. Thanks, Saeed. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's get things started right away. Can you tell us a little bit about your promotion? Obviously, your bare knuckle boxing. When did you get involved with this promotion?
I got involved with BYB back in 2019. I was actually their attorney. I'm a sports and entertainment attorney by trade.
Okay.
That's been in combat sports for about 22, 23 years. So I was the attorney for Mike Vasquez, the owner, while he was working on BYB, up through about BYB 12. And then he had brought it to a point along with Dada 5000 where, it was growing rapidly, but in order to really bring it to the marketplace on a global scale, they needed someone with a little more intricate knowledge of the fight space. So they brought me in 2002 as the CEO, and since then we've been, doing everything we can to make this the number one bare knuckle promotion in the world.
Wow, that's incredible. And you've worked with other promotions, right? Obviously, I know you've worked with Combate Global before. How was that?
It was great. I learned a lot, under Campbell McLaren, really smart promoter. Um, I worked there for about 9 years, from the beginning of when they did their reality show up until I got this opportunity with BYB. So they ran a great show over there. They really focused on Latin American fighters, and they did a lot for that genre of fighting. It was a great experience for me, and I learned a ton.
Nice. So like I started seeing that on Univision, so they were reaching a pretty big market. So that's pretty dope to see. How did you
Yeah.
you're into other sports, right? Like do you like other sports or it's just combat sports? What got you into combat sports?
I mean, I've just always been a fan. When I was a young teenager, I used to box a little bit, so I've always been intrigued by combat sports. And I grew up a huge boxing fan, and then when I was in college, MMA sort of burst on the scene, and so it also caught my interest. And then many decades later, I ran into Mike Vasquez and saw what he was doing with bare knuckle fighting, and I thought this is the next big thing, and I have to be a part of it.
And well, so what a lot of people out if you haven't seen, there's something very special that caught my eye. It's the ring.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
ring,
The Trigon.
the Trigon. Yeah, I saw it's called Trigon because it's a triangle, and it's
Yep.
if you like fighting, if you're not into grappling, man, you must watch this. This is amazing. This ring, the way it's shaped, you just have to stand in there and bare
Yeah,
knuckle.
there's nowhere to go. The beauty of it, it's really built for real fighters. We've come into a few athletes who say, I don't like it because they're the type of fighter that like to backpedal and run around the ring. You can't do that in the Trigon. If you get caught in those corners, unlike a square where you can slide out or a circle where you could circle out, there's only one way out in the Trigon, and that's forward. So it pushes the action, it leads to more exciting fights, and it makes guys really have to go out with their full skill set in order to compete at the highest level.
You love to see that, like people that like to see action. I mean,
Yeah,
there's that. And
that's it.
so,
I mean,
what base do you think is better? Like, or not better, but like I know, like obviously to me, I think boxers have the upper hand in bare knuckle boxing, but because you get everybody coming in, like you're starting to see more MMA fighters transition into bare knuckle, everywhere.
yeah, I mean, I would say boxers probably have a little bit of a head start over MMA fighters just because it's a sole discipline. But one thing that I've noticed is also like Muay Thai fighters, I think, have a really good leg up because they're unlike boxers who like to move. There's some boxers that like to move around and they're back foot fighters, not front foot fighters. But in Muay Thai, you're really always attacking and attacking. So it's that attack mentality that I think really bodes well for fighters in the Trigon.
Nice. And do you still get naysayers about the
Oh yeah,
sport? Still?
you get we get naysayers about the sport, we get naysayers about the ring until they come to a live event, and I always encourage someone. It sounds different and it sounds maybe weird to you or it sounds cool to you, but until you've really seen it, and more importantly, if you get the chance to see it live, I've done about about 30 shows now with BYB, and I've yet to see one person walk out and not say that was the coolest thing I've ever seen in combat sports. And as a CEO, that lets me know that we're onto something. And it's just, it really is. And I've been a fan of combat sports for a long, long time, and I enjoy all disciplines, but this is the purest form of fighting, and everyone can relate to it. Everyone's been in a fist fight. Everyone's been in a position where they can't go backwards, where they have to move forwards, and this encapsulates all of that. So, again, I encourage anyone who's a fan of combat sports to come check out BYB Extreme.
Well, when I tuned in, the first thing that caught my eye was Mike Goldberg
Yeah,
and commentary team. Wow.
yeah,
So
yeah.
right away, you're attracting when you see that. That's a household name for a lot of people that are
Yeah.
into combat sports for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, Goldie's a veteran voice. That he was the veteran voice of the Octagon for a long time. Went on to Bellator. His co-partner in the U.S. is Paulie Malignaggi, two-time boxing champion. So you really get a great perspective from both of those guys. They're very smart, very intelligent commentators that are really able to give good insight. And then on our Spanish feed, we have Claudia Trejos, who's one of the most outstanding boxing commentators in the world, most well-respected, along with Benny Ricardo, who's also a well-respected commentator who also happens to commentate professional football. So it's a very well-rounded team. And for when we go to the UK now, we have guys like Tom Ross and Gareth Davies, guys who have been doing it over there for decades. And so I think we probably have one of the most well-respected commentary teams on both sides of the pond and in both languages that we do.
And to touch on that on the European shows, Wales. Wow.
Yeah.
How the fans over there? I have a friend over there, and he says like it gets crazy over there. Like
It's wild, and it's really encouraging to see, because part of the reason we did the acquisition with BKB earlier in the year was for that exact reason. We had a talent exchange with them for a number of years, where we were sending fighters to each other's promotions for a number of years, and it just got to a point where we noticed that collectively it would be a lot stronger. And so we made the purchase of BKB, and the fans have embraced us. And it is really just like nothing I've ever seen. I mean, they're really passionate about the sport. They are very into it. They get there 2 hours early. Like, the doors open at 3 over there. The fights start at 5, and at 3:15 the place is packed out. So, and they don't leave until the last fight's over. So the response has been fantastic over there.
And the atmosphere, it's incredible. So I can imagine we're gonna see a lot of shows over there.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking to do 16 shows next year. 8 of them will probably be overseas. Our first one of the year is going to be in Wales. We're going back to Cardiff on February 1st.
Okay.
We'll be announcing those fights in this upcoming week. But we have, the beauty of this acquisition has made it so we can make some of the most exciting fights in bare knuckle, and our roster has gotten so strong and so deep that the fans are going to be in for a treat next year, because there's going to be no shortage of great fights.
Sounds perfect, yeah. And the people want to see the fights. They want to see the best fight the best, and I see that with your promotion. When the LT Nelson fought Canelli, oof.
Yeah.
So,
And then he's fighting. They're rematching in January in New Mexico. In Albuquerque, and LT is one of the best to ever do it. Canelli is as tough as they come. So they fought to a draw their first fight, and so I think they have unfinished business, and hopefully it gets finished on January 11th in New Mexico.
so we're talking about Europe. I want to talk to you about Cub Hawkins. He's fighting December 6th, right?
Yep.
What are the chances of getting bare knuckle to Chicago sometime?
We'd love it. I mean, listen, it's not that we don't want to come to all these places. It's that the commissions haven't greenlit everything yet. So as soon as that happens, as soon as Illinois opens it up, we'll be one of the first ones to come there.
Oh, nice. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But Cub has how many? So can you explain to me the belts, the names of the belts, the Gazette?
Yeah, it's the Police Gazette Diamond Belt. It's the oldest belt in combat sports. It dates all the way back to 1882, and it was the original combat sports belt that was held by John L. Sullivan prior. This is when bare knuckle fighting was legal, before it became illegal and boxing started. So the lineage of this belt stretches all the way back for centuries, and we acquired it this year. It was originally being put out there for all organizations to enjoy, but other organizations wanted to have their own belt. and BYB saw the value in such a rich history. I mean, it's older than the Ring Magazine belt. It's older than WBA and WBC. It's the oldest belt in combat sports, and it has a lineage to prove it. So it's a historical belt, and that's why we're so proud of having it at BYB. And so now, instead of having the BYB belt or the BKB belt, we've put it all under one umbrella. Now everyone can just earn the BYB Police Gazette belt.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't expecting that. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
That is one of the coolest stories I've heard in combat sports. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah.
That's history right there. That's
Yep.
history. um, what do you ever think about cross promoting, or you just want to stick to your own for?
I mean, for right now, we're really trying to establish ourselves, and the difficulty of cross promoting is we have a ring that's shaped like a triangle. So, you know, it adds a little bit of uniqueness to us, but it also complicates the ability to cross promote. We're open to anyone coming to fight in the Trigon. We believe it's the true testing ground in combat sports. So anyone from any, you know, if other organizations were interested, we'd have an open ear, but it would have to be in the Trigon because that's really the place to settle things. You know, there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. It's where the true bare knuckle fighters go to prove that they're the best.
Yeah, it's true. How do you feel about like media and like social media now? Like, I don't know if you've noticed, like, there's been kind of like a transition with like media. Like, a lot of stuff is viral now.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's a gift and a curse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It depends what's going viral and for what reasons. You know, there's news that's been coming out that has been, you know, sort of bad for the sport over the last 24, 48 hours, and there's other stuff that goes viral for good reasons.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's intriguing to me to see a lot of these influencers trying to participate in combat sports.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, depending on who it is, I'm not really a big fan of it. You know, I appreciate what Jake Paul's doing because I think he's taking it seriously and he's doing real things for the sport of boxing. But you know, when there's people who don't have real fight experience and they don't take it serious, it's just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it's I was gonna ask you about influence boxing, but I mean, you pretty much answer that.
Yeah.
Do you watch other promotions, or do you just like kind of concentrate
Oh
on
yeah.
you watch
I
all
mean,
the top sports?
I watch everything. You know, I even, you know, I want to see what the competition is up to. I want to see what other people are doing. You know, I'm consistently trying to learn and understand the space. It's both, you know, beneficial and you get to see what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong or what works and what doesn't work. So, and I like to keep my finger on the pulse of all combat sports because the more you know about who's fighting where, eventually, you know, all roads could lead to the Trigon. So it's important for me to keep my eyes on who's out there.
Nice. And now that the year is coming to a close, how do you feel about the year you guys just had, 2024 overall? Like,
I mean, it's been the best so far. You know, I can say that hands down. We were able to do 12 events this year. We acquired the BKB. We acquired the Police Gazette belt. We've gone from one network to being on 3 networks and into 27 countries internationally. We've been having our last 9 shows. You've been able to, they put odds on them, so you've been able to play sports wagering on it. So we've accomplished a lot in 2024 as a company, and I think 2025 though is the year that we really become mainstream.
heck yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to. I'm definitely gonna catch an event. You know, like
Yeah,
meet up.
and you're always
That
welcome, man.
that
Anytime
New
we got.
Mexico one's looking nice. I'm in LA, so I'm like,
Okay,
if
that's a
I can
road
plan it
trip.
right, I can make it.
Yeah, you got to get some partners and come road trip.
How do you feel about so what's like an average week for you, like as a CEO of a combat sports
It,
promotion?
it's it's sort of up and down. I mean, it's a lot of travel. You know, I happen to be home this week, but most of my life is on the road. You know, and it's whether it's going to events or talking to networks or sponsors or going and doing some deal making. You know, you're consistently out there trying to push your brand and put it in the public eye. And then when I'm home, you know, I'm trying to catch up on the business side of things, you know, the paperwork and the contracts and all the other stuff that has to go into it. So, but I have a great team around me. You know, we have a really close knit staff, and our team is fantastic. From Mike Vasquez, the owner, to our matchmaker Mel Valenzuela, our whole team is we work as one unit, so it makes my job a lot easier.
You love to see it, and you can see it all over the promotion, the growth and everything. The commentary team and just like everything. The whole team's pretty stacked. I like what you guys are building over there. You're doing it for the fans too. You're doing it for the fans, and that's
I mean, our key is we don't want to have boring fights. We don't want to have commentators that tell you what you think you want to hear. We want fights that are going to be 50-50 going in. It's going to be all action, and a commentary team that's going to tell it like it is. If a fight sucks, they're going to tell you that fight sucked. That guy didn't give it his all. But if it's a great fight, they're going to spell it out to you play by play. So, we are a group of individuals that have been in combat sports for a long time, and we are fans first and foremost. So we know what we would want to see. And so that's the product that we try to put out, because we know what's exciting and we know what's boring, and we think we have lightning in a bottle.
Yeah. 2025 is going to be sick, but we still got one more fight left, December 6th. I'm excited.
December 6th. Oh, it's stacked from top to bottom. I mean, we have 3 title fights. Gustavo Trujillo, undefeated heavyweight, hasn't gone past, I don't think, a minute and a half in the first round with anyone. He's fighting Richie Leak, the BKB heavyweight champion, big, strong guy coming out of Liverpool, England. We have Zion Tomlinson fighting Cub Hawkins for the 185-pound belt. And, I mean, Cub is an animal, but this young kid walked through, Yuli Diaz, who is a legend in his last fight, and he's coming for it. And then we have Jamie Driver and Sonia Dryling, who have unfinished business. They fought, I think it was BYB 13 in London, and they fought to a close split decision. So they're going to go at it for I think it's the female welterweight title or super welterweight title, and in the undercard we got Roberto Duran Jr., who is coming off a very controversial loss, and we got Jared Grant fighting Josh Oxendine. I mean, the whole card's stacked from top to bottom.
Sounds interesting. I'm excited. Can't get it any quicker.
That's right. Hey, me either.
Hey, and then the January card.
January card, we're going to be in New Mexico, making our debut over there. Main event, the GOAT LT Nelson fighting James Kennelly in a long-awaited rematch. Like I said earlier, they fought to a draw back in January, I think, of this year, and it was really a razor-thin decision. So I think Albuquerque is going to be in for a real treat. They're going to see what real bare-knuckle fighting looks like, and I think we're going to sell it out pretty quick.
Let's go, man. You guys, if you're in New Mexico, you got to check it out. You got to stop by.
Yeah, 100%.
We have a lot of time.
Tell them Saeed sent you. You get a discount.
Yeah, there you go. See? Well, Greg, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
I don't know anything else you want to shout out? Any sponsors, anything?
Yeah, I mean, if I get them in, I'll shout out to Takeo Farms and to AMG, our 2 sponsors, also Clue nicotine pouches. And thank you for all the sponsorship, and standing behind us. And everyone go follow us at BYB Extreme on all platforms and come see the best, most exciting thing in combat sports.
I'll vouch for that, guys. I'll vouch for that. You got to check out this ring. It's amazing.
Yep.
All right, Greg, I hope
you
have a great rest of your week, Friday, weekend, the rest of the year. Can't wait to chop it up again with you, huh?
Anytime, man. Anytime. And I'm looking forward to seeing you at a live event soon.
Oh, I will. That's it's in my priority list now.
All right, man. Take care.
All right. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.